Morning, Brian. Adam's watching. I just watching you live stream yesterday. Well, okay, so this is part two of how did we get here? And it is 8:41 Kansas City time. I stayed at my sister's house in Kansas, and I'm on the road heading west to my sister Dora's, which she lives in Grand Junction, Colorado. So it will be 12 hours until I get to my sister Dora. But I thought I would continue my story of how did we get here and fill in some details about some things that I might not have discussed yesterday. Basically, how did Professor Tinkers get started? So I think that's a good way to start is, where did I get the name Professor Tinkers? Okay, a lot of people might not know the backstory of how the name Professor Tinker got started. And we have to go back to basically 1994, 95. So I was teaching science and I think a couple other topics. Bowling Green Christian Academy, okay? And she was teaching science and a couple other subjects at the Bowling Green Christian Academy. And she wasn't getting a lot of, and she would do a science fair every year. There'd be a science fair. You know, the traditional science fair, you'd make a science project and blah, blah, blah. Well, she wasn't getting a lot of participation. And so I said, well, why don't I do so I created this character based on the Jerry Lewis character of the Nutty Professor, because I kind of did hit his voice, golly gee, listen. And then I also did Pee Wee Herman. Now, I can't do Pee Wee Herman and hold on a second. I gotta pay my toll. I can't do Pee Wee Herman. I can't do imitations very well because I don't have my saliva that I used to have. But I used to do Kermit the Frog, and I used to do Pee Wee Herman. But with a denture, you have to really change your voice. You really have to change your mouth, and I can't do it now. It's impossible. And so, hold on a second. Let me pay for my ticket. And then I'll continue the story. Just give me a second here. They have 5 miles of road that is tolled. Go figure. And so I came up with my alter ego, Professor Tinker. And he was a professor. He had a wig. I wore a wig and a lab coat, and he loved to do science. And so I would come into class, and I'd go, hi there, my name's Professor Tinker, and golly gee, we're gonna do these creative things with science, And so I would do all these things, and the kids really got into it. And so I was doing my Professor Tinker for my wife's science fair. That's how the name That's how the name Professor Tinker got started.
I can take that, but I got to do paperwork on it, or I can also do a card. So what?
You got to do paperwork on it?
I do, because it's a big bill. Anytime we get a 50 or 100, we have to do paperwork on it. That way, if it comes back as a bad bill, we know who to come back to.
Unbelievable. Yeah. It's not your fault.
I was gonna say, I just follow the rules.
I know you do.
Thank you.
They got to do paperwork on a $100 bill. Unbelievable. That's where we are in this country. Oh, you don't want to get me going in this country right now. Oh my goodness. So I started. Plus, I've got a sore throat right now, so it's not like my voice is okay right now. My voice is kind of raspy. So I created Professor Tinker as an alter ego, and the science fair was a huge success. A lot of kids participated in it, and so that's how Professor Tinker got started. The name Professor Tinker. Well, then the following year, I created another character called Captain Technology, and he had he was from the future, and he was a brother of Professor Tinker, and he was from the future, and so I had this costume that was like this, and I think I might have shown it to you. If I can get it, pull it out. If you watch some older videos from last year, I think I did that, I think. And so Captain Technology was another character that I did the following year. And then the last year that I did the science fair, I did Professor Wacko. And he was the third brother. There were three brothers, Professor Tinker, Captain Technology, and Professor Wacko. And so I did those three characters. And then I would do Professor Tinker most of the time, off and on at the school. I would dress up. Well, then when I told you guys yesterday that I was with Irwin Toy, and they were going to do away with my division, the specialty division, selling to specialty hobby stores or specialty stores. And so I immediately had to think, well, I need a job. So I thought, well, I could just open a toy store. Oh, what could I name it? Well, I could name it Professor Tinker's Workshop. And that's a great name. And I could dress up as my costume and get kids to come in. And that's exactly how Professor Tinker's Workshop or Professor Tinker got started. And then when Ryan wanted to, and so Professor Tinker's Workshop, let me backstart, I'm sorry. So when Professor Tinker's Workshop got started, I still think that it's a great concept. It just needed a little bit more money to fund it, which was a Chuck E. Cheese and a toy store combined. That type of concept, where you have a high quality toy store, okay, with high quality toys, and then I offered Tinker Dollars, so you could get all your tickets, okay, in the store, all right, and you could translate them into Tinker Dollars. Because I always thought Chuck E. Cheese, the problem with Chuck E. Cheese is that the parents are not getting the value. Okay, it's a quick thrill, and they're really losing money. Okay, the only person that's making any money is Chuck E. Cheese, and they're not really making a lot of money either, because the parent is spending all this money on all these games, and they're getting crap for toys. Okay, and so I thought, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create Tinker Dollars, where the kid, if he doesn't want to get a quick toy right now, he could save his Tinker Dollars. And so I think it was one ticket was 1 cent, so you needed 100 tickets for $1. and you could save and then come in and buy real toys with your dollars. And so I had kids coming in with 90 Tinker dollars, which is like 9,000 tickets, and or something like it. It was the correct portion to a ticket value, and so the concept was great. We did birthday parties and everything. I still think Professor Tinker's Workshop is a viable business plan. It just needed the real funding and the advertising and the development to get it going. And I didn't have any of that. I had a rich guy that backed it, but he didn't want to do anything to help me. He only wanted his part of the business, which that's why it failed. He wanted to take all of the Professor Tinker, all the game money, and I didn't get any of that. So it starved me with funds so that I could grow, and that's why the business failed. And so in 2003, Professor Tinker's workshop closed, and then I tried to reopen another one, but it was terrible. I didn't have half the product. I didn't have any product, really. So that's how Professor Tinker, the name Professor Tinker, got started. And so when Ryan came up to me and said, hey, I'd like to create a website, we'll just call it ProTinkerToys.com. Because I did have a website called ProfessorTinkersWorkshop.com back in 2001, actually. I had it for a year. The end of 2001 and 2002, I had the website. And so I did all that with Ryan, but I didn't do a lot of the marketing like Ryan's doing. The social media wasn't there. Facebook wasn't there. A lot of these social medias weren't there. You had, not Facebook, you had, what was that other one called? Not Facebook, FaceTime or something like that, or I can't think of the name of the company. They were number one back in 2002 and 3. They were bigger than Facebook is right now, but they allowed too much risque stuff. MySpace, that's right. MySpace was huge. And then when MySpace collapsed, actually I can't remember what company was going to buy MySpace, but they turned it down. Fox was going to buy MySpace. I think they ended up buying it. So that's how Professor Tinker. So if you want to know the history of Professor Tinker, it started from that, from my wife's teaching high school, and or teaching not high school, middle school, junior high kids at the Bowling Green Christian Academy. So that's how Professor Tinker got started. That's the history behind the name. And when Ryan came to me and said, hey, can I open a website? I didn't have any problem with that. Once he told me, how much it was going to be, and so it's 1,040 miles to South 15, the US 15, which is an interstate. Once you come out of Colorado, and then you go into Idaho, and then you go into Utah, and then you hit 15. That's the end of 70. 70 ends in 15, and it's 1,000. I think it's 1,030 miles to Vegas. I'll know that in about an hour. I can tell you how many miles. It'll probably say 900 and some miles. Oh my goodness. Holy cow, what a ride today's going to be. Now, if I drove nonstop to Vegas, I would get there at 1 o'clock in the morning, which I'm not. I'm going to stay at my sister Dora's. She's the one that has the Mustang, which you saw me drive last year. And they don't. I haven't called her yet. I'm going to call her probably like 1 o'clock to let her know that I'm coming. I won't get there till about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. Actually, I'll gain 1 more hour here. Right now it's 8:57. It's 9 o'clock in Ohio, or no, it's 10 o'clock in Ohio, and it's just now turning 9 o'clock in Kansas. It's about 2 hours. So that's how Professor Tinker got started. And so now let's jump and get you guys to understand exactly how did I get into this slot car? How did I become the slot car guy? Okay, and how does Dave Kennedy fit into all that? And Alan Smith, and so I want to kind of do a backstory of Alan Smith. So back in 1997. 1996. So this was before that's right. This was when I was with Rarities. Rick Howard knew somebody at Shop at Home, and he knew somebody there, and so Alan Smith and I went to Shop at Home to shop one of these race sets. And we set it up in the store, in the studio, and we demoed it, and we were showing people this race set. It didn't go over too well, but it was an experiment that we did, that Alan Smith and I both did. This had to be in 96 that we did this. So this was before Alan Smith had taken over Scale Electric in the U.S. What people have to understand is that back in 96 and 97, Carrera, Ninko, none of these companies exist, not to the extent they do now. I want to make that very clear, not to the extent that they do now. Okay, they did not have the presence that they do now. And I believe this, and I don't want to put anything on me that shouldn't be put on it, but I believe the excitement for 1/32nd in America, the growth that happened between 1996 and 2007, I would say is at least 60% of my contributions. And I'll explain why. And I'm not trying to be pompous or I'm not trying to say, well, Ryan. No, I'm just kind of giving you the facts, because the facts are that in 1997, when Irwin Toy told me to get a vehicle and start traveling the country, nobody was doing that. Nobody was going physically to stores like I was, okay, and showing off 1/32nd as a viable product to put in their store. Nobody was doing it. Now, there was REH, and Bob Haynes had inventory, okay, of older 1/32nd, but none of the new stuff, okay? I mean, none of the Scale Electric. The only person that was doing Scale Electric was Irwin Toy, and then we were selling it to Horizons, Great Plains, and Bob Haynes, and a couple other distributors. But a lot of retailers weren't carrying it because they didn't think it was, until I started going physically to these stores and doing demos. I would do demos and set up layouts and at hundreds of hobby stores across the country, especially in the Chicago area. I must have done 50 huge layouts in their stores, on the ground, in the summertime, in malls, all over the country. And there was one place in New York, near what was it? Rochester, It was called Whistle Stop's Hobby, and now they're out of business. And I was promoting SCX. Every year he had a special event, and I was inside this giant tent. Matter of fact, I'll show you a picture of it when I get back. I've got a picture of Ryan and I, because Ryan would go with me and set up these race sets, and I will show you when I get back that picture of Ryan standing next to the caboose, because there was a big caboose next to his store. Nobody was doing it other than me. That's from 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. So for 5 years, I was the only one that was physically driving to stores selling initially Scale Electric, but then SCX by Technotoy. So 5 years I was doing that. You could say I was laying the seed, and then in 2001 or in 2000, Irwin Toy decided to get rid of slot cars. By then, the seed had already been, and now all these retailers were starting to carry this stuff. Scale Electric was now pumping out more stuff. Ninko then, they were, I think, 2001. They started to pump out more stuff. And then MRC picked up Ninko and brought Ninko into the U.S. And then all of a sudden, Carrera started to move more stuff. All of a sudden, everything started to expand, all right, in the U.S. Now, I was out of the picture from 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for 6 years, 132nd, because of what I really believe, because of what I did, the seed that I started back in the 96, 99 to 99, because retailers were now carrying it and doing quite well with it, buying tons of cars. All of a sudden, the craze hit. And so then what happened was, obviously, I got a call from well, that was all screwed up. Why is they sending me that way? Oh, shoot. Hold on a second. My Garmin got all messed up. I don't know what happened. So I am just kind of telling you the history of 132nd when I started in the United States. And the fact of the matter is, nobody was selling it hardly at all in 1996. Hobby stores, okay? HO, they might have had HO sets from Bob Haynes, but there was no real presence of 132nd in the U.S., okay? Certainly not Carrera, certainly not Fly, certainly not Ninko. Now there might have been some Carrera in the toy business, but not to the extent that they are now. All right. Everything really popped 1998, 1999. So then you had then in 2004, Technotoys decided to come out with the Scx Digital System, which to me, the original Scx Digital System in its entire I'll just tell you right now, if I had $1 billion or if I had unlimited funds, I would literally buy out Scx and I would redo the original Scx Digital with modern technology, with modern electronics, and I would redo the original Scx Digital System because it was the best. So from in 2004, when they came out the original system, and it had some problems. And in 2006, they reintroduced it, and they fixed all the issues that. For example, when they first came out with the digital cars, the chips were glued into the car, so you could not take them out. Which that was a mistake, because when the cars died, the chips died, the car was dead. So that was one change that they made, is that the chips had to be removable. And that was in the second evolution. And so when they hired me to sell Scx Digital 2007 is when I took over, and I got my HHR, and I started traveling the country selling Scx Digital. And all you have to do is go look at my older videos of 9 years ago or 10 years ago on my YouTube, and you'll see the original videos that I did that have, 50,000, 20,000, a million views. I had a total of 1 million views until they redid YouTube, and I lost all my subscribers. And so it was amazing how that people when I started telling people that I was going to go on a road trip, because I'd do a video saying, hey, okay, I'm going on a road trip. I'll be traveling to Vegas. It's amazing how many people, absolute strangers, would want me to come over to their house and do a video of their layout in their house. And I would spend the night in their house and have dinner with their family. It was absolutely amazing. And that started in 2008 is when I did my first road trip. And you're saying, okay, what was the road trip all about, Brian? Well, I broke the country into 4 sections for the year. So the first was the longest trip, and that was from 8. Well, there was usually it was in March. There was a short trip that would cover the like southern states. And then in April, first week of April, because the nurses show that I'm going to right now normally was in October. No, I'm sorry, May 1st. It was in May. It was normally in May. And so my road trip started from Ohio, and I would head south into Georgia, and then I would do Kentucky and Tennessee, and then I would head west, and then do Arkansas, and then Texas, and then I would do New Mexico, Arizona, and then I would end up in Vegas in May. So I was gone for like 2 months, but I would fly home. I would fly home for a week when I got to Texas. All right. Not Texas. I'd fly home when I got to after the nurses show. So for 3 weeks I was on the road visiting hobby stores and setting up demos and showing the retailers Scx Digital, and I went to every hobby store in the country. Then in 2008, in the end of 2008 and the beginning of 2009, there was a guy named Dave Kennedy, and I think it was 2008 or 9. Anyway, I'm not on the date on that. He started with us, and Dave Kennedy is he's like a walking encyclopedia for information about cars and what car to do, what body, and all that kind of stuff. And he was hired to market that kind of thing, photography, because he's good at photography. And so they hired him in 2009. Then in 2008 and 9 were great years. 2010 was another great year. And then, because we were just selling a ton of stuff, we sold Scx Digital to Bass Pro for 2 years. The third year was not so good. We had a lot of returns. And then we did a project where we sold Scx Digital in Costco. That did not work. All returns. That was just a failure. We got so many returns back on. Oh my goodness, the amount of returns we got back from Costco was absolutely. And then in 2010, we hired. Back in 2009, we also hired a guy named John. I can't think of his name. And then there was Chuck, and then everybody was fired. Dave was let go, and then he was hired by Carrera. Then Carrera let him go, and then he was hired by Scale Electric, and then in 2020 he was let go in 2020. John, he was let go, and then in 2011, Chuck Arrett that hired me at SCX, he was let go. And a lot of traffic. A lot of traffic on 70. I don't know why. There's way too much traffic, that's for sure. I mean, there's a lot of traffic on 70. And I can't get any speed up. I got to keep my eye on the road right now. There's a lot of traffic. Okay, so in 2011 is when. So how did ProTinkerToys go out of business? Well, there's two reasons why ProTinkerToys went out of business. One of them is they did not have a good quality control in China, and so they made a lot of mistakes. They were sending me too much parts, and I realized that they were sending me all this stuff. This stuff doesn't. It's not free. Then they had a president or a CFO or that was actually a crook. Basically, he was a crook, and he embezzled money. And in 2011, they came out with their brick system, Technobrick, they called it, I think. A stupid idea. Basically, they literally sucked $300,000 to $400,000 of their bottom line from taking away from what they do good at, and that was slot cars, and putting it into these bricks. Bad idea. Bad idea. And so they went out of business in December of 2011. And everybody that was with ProTinkerToys was let go except for me and Jordi Estrada. And we're not Jordi, but his name was Jordi. Jordi, I can't think of his last name. Not Jordi Estrada. Jordi. Anyways, he and I were the last two to be with ProTinkerToys, and I told you the story about that yesterday. So that is basically the nutshell for 132nd. Now, ever since 20, so I think it's 2015 or 2014, I started to approach Tom Lowell. He's the owner of Round 2. Hey, do you need a salesman? Do you need blah, blah, blah? Well, I saw that was not going anywhere. And then I can't remember know if it was Toy Fair or how I approached Auto World. But all of a sudden I got I think it was Tom Lowell. I think I was at, I said, do you have any sets you want to get rid of? And he said, you need to call Craig Lundquist. Craig Lundquist. And I said, all right. And so I called Craig at round 2, and I said, hey, do you have any, this was in 2016. No, 2017, I think, right, and 2018. I said, do you have any slot car sets you want to get rid of? He goes, yeah, I got like 5 sets that we got about a total of 400 sets. And I said, well, what kind of price can you give me on those? And he gave me a price. And I said, now this was, I basically had to take a loan for these sets. And so I bought a sea container to keep them. And they sat in a sea container for almost a year. And I was just selling them one at a time on eBay. And they weren't, they were selling, I'd sell 1 set a month, maybe 2 or 3 sets a month. But I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get all of them sold like that. I'd break some of them up to get the cars and sell them separately. Because I got them at such a great price that I could break the sets up and sell the components and the cars separately. And like I told you, and so I bought all those sets. That's how my relationship with round 2 started. And then it just kind of mushroomed from that situation. But I know that if all of a sudden it goes dead, that the show is over, and thanks for watching. Okay? So, but right now I'm heading into Colorado, and the traffic is extremely heavy. I have never seen 70 this busy. You can see my side video. You can see the car there. Okay. Now I don't know if I can turn it around if you can see. Now it's right in front of the thingamajiggy. But I have never seen this much traffic on 70 going west, especially coming out of Topeka. This is funny. What is this, September? What's all the traffic for? And it's Saturday, too. What's going on a Saturday? That doesn't make any sense. I can't even get 70 miles an hour. We're not even 70 miles an hour right now. It's just, oh my gosh. It's bumper to bumper. Brian, what set was Scx Top Seller? Well, there were 2 sets that Scx, the number 1 set that Scx made, especially with digital, was the 3-card digital set. And now, when I was selling Scx with Irwin Toy, we had this set called most of the sets were the figure 8, which were $199. Really, the price of sets, if you really want to look at prices, the price of a slot car set, 132nd, really has not changed a lot over the years. For example, a figure 8, okay, a figure 8, offset figure 8, that means a bridge, which I sell a lot of those. As a matter of fact, the Amola set that I have is a figure 8. That sold for $199 20 years ago, okay, when it came out, 2001. Now, some of the new sets of Scale Electric are making, they're like $229. So they're really not that out of price. Okay, the cost of a race set is really not the cost. It's really the cars that are in it that I'm amazed at the traffic that's on this road, especially being a Saturday. Where is everybody going today? Where is everybody going? But now the set that I sold the most of was the F1. It was called the F1. Oh shoot, what was that name of that set? Scale Electric set. It had two F1 cars, and that's the one I sold 100 sets of. It was a figure eight. It sold for $199 back in '96. Sold $199 back in '96. That's why it was a good value actually. A lot of track. Same amount of track nowadays. But the big set that I sold the most of was the 3-car set from Scx Digital. We must have sold 2,000 of those sets, at least. We couldn't keep them in stock. We couldn't keep them in stock. That's how many we sold. And then you bought the 2-car set. That gave you 5 cars to run at the same time. So that's what. I'm gonna have to use my poly grip. My dentures aren't staying up into the upper palate. Okay, now I've got a set speed of 80 miles an hour. Traffic is flowing a little. Most people are doing 90, just so you know. Speed limit is 75, but you'll see a guy coming up here right now, a Jeep. He's doing at least 90 or 85. I mean, I'm doing 80. And he's blind. She blew right by me doing at least 90. So I don't know. Some of you people like to hear the history of slot cars in the U.S. or how did 132nd get started. And not to toot my own horn, but it was me. If you could give me the name of the other guy that went around the country visiting over 3,000 hobby stores, let me know the guy's name, because there is none. That's why they hired me. That's exactly why Irwin hired me, and that's why Chuck Arrett hired me back in 2006, because nobody else would do it. And I'm not saying that I'm any great guy. I'm just good at what I do. I'm a good salesman. That's all there is to it. You got to be good at what you do. You have to love the product that you're selling. And I love the product that I'm selling. Number one, it's fun. Slot cars are fun. I think I present that when I'm doing videos, that it's fun. It's just a fun toy to play with. Okay? And if somebody wants if somebody wants a fun high, well, there's a lot of traffic. Boy, I tell you, I have a feeling this ride to Kansas is going to be really bad, and I should never have done this road. I've got a very bad feeling, guys. Very bad feeling. Very bad feeling. I don't know where all the traffic is coming from today. I thought on a Saturday that it would be this much traffic on the road. I'm not kidding, guys. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. Where is everyone going? It's like we're going through deja vu. Now I'm coming to a complete stop, and the traffic is miles ahead of me. Unbelievable. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, here we go again. Stop with the negative ways, Marty. Oh, here we go again. It's like deja vu from last year. I just would like to know, where is everybody going? That's all I want to know is, where is everybody going? Is everybody going to Colorado in September? Okay, I just got an update. It's 999 miles to US 15. 999 miles to US 15. It just changed on my Garmin. Oh my goodness gracious. This is kind of funny, actually. I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. Unbelievable. That's amazing. I mean, unless everybody is fleeing Kansas because of a nuclear war, I don't know where everybody is going today on a Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. What's going on today? Can anybody give me any idea what is going on in Kansas? Because this does not make any sense. School is in session, we're out of the summertime. We're in Kansas. It's a Saturday. Alien invasion. Football games? What football game? Where? Where's the football game? What, in the morning? It's a morning football game? Explain that one to me. I kind of, well, you know what the problem is? It just makes my trip longer. That's the thing. It drags it out. You know, I already have to go across Colorado. Now it just makes the trip even longer. Got a police car up here flashing. I'd hate to be somebody in an electric car right now. That must not. This is really depressing. I would show you, but my camera's all. I'd have to move it. Unbelievable. What are they saying here? But slow down, stay alert. Game day. Wait a minute. Game day. Wait a minute. Game day backup. What is a game day backup? Is there a game in Topeka? No, not Topeka. What game is going on? Can anybody tell me what game is going on? I'm east or west of Topeka, Kansas. What game am I heading into? College football? Where? What college football? Tell me. It figures. Unbelievable. Every time I'm driving, I'm right now I'm doing 20 miles an hour. Do you realize what that does to my time schedule? 20 miles an hour. How depressing. I know, Brian. Don't always be so depressing, Brian. I know, Brian. Don't always be depressing. KSU traffic. Okay. Here. KSU traffic. Kansas State University. Wait a minute. Am I going the wrong? No, I'm not going. I'm heading east. What? KSU traffic. Use right lane. Okay. So right lane, KSU, Kansas State University. But where are they playing? What town is ahead of me? I guess the question is. All these people are going to the game? Oh my goodness. They must not have anything to do on a Saturday. All right, wait a minute. Here we go. Here, let's see what this says. Kansas State University. Oh, well, here it is right here. Kansas State University, National Bio and Defense Facility. Kansas State University, exit 313. What are they, in the middle of nowhere? Where's the university? Manhattan, KS. Where's the university, in the middle of nowhere? Okay, I'm really confused. I am really confused. Manhattan. So Kansas City State is in the town of Manhattan. Manhattan, Tennessee, or Kansas. Manhattan, Kansas. Manhattan Technical College. Manhattan Christian College. Okay, well, that answered the question right now. There has to be at least 10,000 cars on the road here. Trail Grass Prairie National Preserve, Manhattan. So everybody and their mother is going to this football game today. Because that is all the traffic, baby. So there is no traffic after that. Okay. Okay. So now I have an understanding of what's going on, because normally this road has zero traffic. All right. I mean zero traffic. I mean, you can look for miles sometimes and not see a car. All right. Now I'm back up to 80 miles an hour, and all that traffic I ran into. Myself, that just doesn't make any sense. We're in the middle of nowhere. Where's he going? Well, Adam or somebody told me that it's Kansas City University. It's racing here to Barron. So I might lose you guys as a signal. I don't know how much longer I can continue the live stream, because I'm heading into dead space with the internet. This is in the middle of nowhere land on 70 West. Okay, just so you guys know. I will talk as long as I can. Called the Road to Nowhere. The Road to Nowhere, which I think is amazing, because if you see how much of land, how much road had to be built, okay, SRVs, SVRs are the only 5 states. I don't know anything about stadiums, guy. All I know is that there were a ton of people going to that game. I'm going to stop at the rest stop real quick to adjust the camera, so I can show you what the road looks like. But I don't want to do it while I'm driving, because I don't want to get in an accident. So I'm going to pull over here real quick. It's well, it's raining, that's for sure. Okay, so I just thought I'd let you guys see what the road looks like. Wow. I'm heading west on 70. I'm heading to Colorado, Grand Junction. It's going to be a long trip today. But what I find amazing about the interstate system is that, this was all built in the 60s, in basically 10 years. We built the entire interstate system in the United States in about 10 years. Now, a lot of it was built in the 70s too, but 90% of it, maybe 80%, was built in 10 years. And this whole stretch of 70 cutting all the way across to Denver, and then they didn't do just one of them. They did 5 of these same roads. You have 80 and 90 on the north, then you have 70, then you have 40, then you have the 10. It's really quite amazing what they did. They divided the country into sectors, in a sense. Now, I hope it doesn't rain the whole time. I don't necessarily like driving in the rain, and I don't think you guys like seeing the cars. I only have 3 people watching, so it's not like I have a huge crowd watching me drive my car and you guys seeing the road. Would you rather see the road or my face? That's a good question I can ask 3 people. What do you think? Who wants to see my face, or do they want to see the road? I don't even know if I'm live. Can you guys see this, or is anybody listening? I don't think anybody's watching. They want to see my face. I like to see the handsome face. I think I'm getting a cold. Look at all the traffic going to the game the other direction. Holy cow. For the love of all, these are from the Air Force Base. Look at all that traffic. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Look at this, guys. Look at all the traffic there on the left. See all those cars? They're all going to that game. Because Fort Riley Marshall Field is over here. Look at all those cars all going to that game. Let's see how far that line goes. Look at all those cars all going to that game. Holy guacamole. Look, it keeps going. 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 Continues. Look at it. Continues. Continues. All right, there it ends right there. So it's not that big of a line, but. Boy, is it raining. Holy guacamole. I'll try to do something maybe when I get into Colorado. Continue a little bit longer. If it starts to drop a lot, I'll just cut. I think I probably should just cancel now, maybe. But I'm hoping to have a good show in Vegas. I'm going to be promoting slot cars again like I did. And looks clear now. Yeah, the roads have all cleared up. There's no more traffic. All that game traffic is behind me. Ooh. A lot of rain. But we're going to be setting up the 4-lane layout. We're going to be setting up the Scooby-Doo and the Batmobile set with the loop. And we're going to be showing all our product, Auto World product, try to get dealers to buy our sample package. We have a sample package that we're trying to sell to get them into slot cars. And hopefully we get a lot of orders. That's what I'm hoping for. It would help right now. And we want to sell a lot of exclusives so they can be selling them in their store. Not everybody is on the internet. I think there's a lot. We're going to connect when we get closer to Colorado. I might do something later on today, maybe 5 or 6 o'clock tonight. So everybody have a great day. God bless, and thanks for watching. I hope yesterday's featurette of the auction cars went well, and we will see you guys on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday doing live streams all week. Next week, I'll be doing live streams all week in Vegas, and you guys have a great day, and God bless.